Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Kedel Kol Shira, in partnership, of course, with Breslov.org, Breslov Efrat, and of course, Yeshiva Teres Shimon. It's so beautiful to be able to teach Hashem's Torah and to discuss the Parsha. Always, this week's Parsha is Parshat Tetzaveh. Discussing the big day kahuna, the investments of the kohanim, Aharon HaKohen, his children, and so on, and for the generations preceding. And we also had this week's Parsha is Parshat Zachor. Getting rid of Amalek. It's amazing, the world events. And we have again in Tavshin Pevei Evov, we have again the Amalek, which we have Iran, and they want to destroy us again, and it's just wow, so many things to discuss in the parsha. So let's go through the parsha, and hopefully with Siyata Deshmaya, of course, we'll come up with some beautiful chidushim, and here we go. So let's talk about first the Shemen HaMeor. All right, so here, in the Parsha, we talk about this idea, V'yikhu eilecha shemen zayis zoch kosis lameor. Take pure olive oil, crushed for the purpose of the light. The Medrash Tanchuma asks, why is Klal Yisrael compared to an olive? Very simple, unbelievable. You know, if you take other fruits, if you take a pomegranate, you know, the Zion purest of Eretz Yisrael, the 7 species of Eretz Yisrael. You take a pomegranate, it's tasty, right? Take a fig, tasty off the tree. You take a date off the tree, delicious. For that matter, all fruits. Baruch Hashem. We're learning in Likutei Halachos Hilchos Birchas HaPeiros, and we sing how beautiful fruits really are. But an olive is very different than all the other ones. An olive, you take it off the tree, it's tart. It's hard. It's not edible. But once you break it down, you crush it. You treat it, you salt it, you work on it. Then it's delicious. It's amazing. An olive is very different than anything else. That's why Klal Yisrael were compared to the olive. The same way the olive, before you work on it, it's not delicious, it's not edible, it's not usable. So too is a Yid. When you work on a Yid, when he works on himself, he becomes delicious. I love that. All right. So Parshat Tetzaveh also, it's very interesting, is the only Parsha since in the introduction of Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was born in Parshat Shemais, till the end of Chamisha Chumshita, to the end of the Torah, every Parsha we speak about Moshe Rabbeinu. This week's Parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu's name is omitted. Wow. Why should Moshe Rabbeinu's name not be in this Parsha? Talking about the oil, talking about the vestments of Aharon, all these beautiful things, and his name isn't there? One question. Moshe Rabbeinu's name isn't there it's missing, but he's certainly referred to in the parsha. It says va'ata, with an aleph, you. It's talking about Moshe Rabbeinu, beremez. This is the month. This is the time of remez, hinting to. The same way you go through Megillas Esther, you won't find one time in the Megillah Hashem's name. But we know every time it says Hamelech, Stam, it says Hamelech, it's referring to the Hamelech, Malchei, Hamlochem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So too in the parsha over here, Moshe's name is not there, but it says Va'ata. Very nice understanding. And how you can connect Parshat Tetzaveh to Chodesh Adar, to Megillas Esther. But we know why isn't Moshe's name really written in this parsha? Why is it only hinted to? So here, listen to this. In next week's parsha, Parshas Kisisa, we have the golden calf, the story of the golden calf. And Moshe Rabbeinu says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, forgive the Jewish people. And if you won't, imno macheni no misifrecha. Take me out. Macheni no misifrecha. It's hinting to the word over there also, mei noyach. Macheni, mei noyach. We know that the Zohar says that Moshe Rabbeinu was actually a Gilgal, a reincarnation of Noach. And we know when it came to Noach, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him that I'm going to have to destroy the people, Noach didn't daven. He didn't know what to say. But after the flood, Noach was crying. So Hashem said to him, "You're a raya shoita. You're a fool. Now you're crying after the destruction. Why didn't you cry to me before, to maybe perhaps to save the destruction?" But now HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe Rabbeinu like this: the Jewish people, they sinned a very, very grave sin. Collected their gold, and they made a golden calf. And we were worshiping this golden calf. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, I want to destroy the Jewish people, and we'll make a new nation with you. The same exact thing what happened with Noach. Hashem said, I'll destroy the world and we'll rebuild the world with you. It's the exact same story. Here's the Jewish people. We know the whole world was created for the Jewish people. What does Moshe Rabbeinu say? No. I remember making this mistake back then. I'm not making this mistake again. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have to forgive the Jewish people. So much so that he said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he gave an ultimatum. Could you imagine that? Moshe Rabbeinu gave the Rebbeinu Shloim an ultimatum. If you don't want to forgive the Jewish people, remove me from your Torah. I don't want to be part of such a Torah. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu accepted it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu accepted it. And he forgave us. And that's what we had last week's Parsha, Truma, where we had to give the Truma, whatever you wanted to give, whatever was befitting from your heart to give. That's what Hashem said. Tikhu es Trumasi. Right? In this week's Parsha, We discussed the vestments and the sacrifices that were done, that the Kohen wore, and the oil to light the menorah. And we discussed all the beautiful... But again, Moshe's name is not here. All of these things were introduced to Klal Yisrael. Why? Because of the golden calf. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, make the Mishkan. And also be counted with the Machzis HaShekel. Right? We didn't read last week. Last week we didn't read, but the week before, we read the Parsha of Shkolim. It was one of the 4 special Parshas that we read leading up to Pesach. Right? Shkolim. And we had to give the Machzis HaShekel. And the Machzis HaShekel was used to pay for all the communal sacrifices. The Machzis HaShekel was used to buy this oil. The Machzis HaShekel was used to buy the Ketoret. We're going to speak about the Ketoret. It's in the Parsha 2 Ketoret. So in the Parsha, so we see over here like this. The Parsha is teaching us about bittul, self-nullification. And the Megillah, like we said, is read in Adar. And that's the time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sometimes feels absent from us. He's not speaking directly to us. Like in this week's Parsha V'ata, Hashem speaking to our neshama, V'ata. We let our egos go away. But let's really discuss this oil. V'yichko elecha shemen zayisach. Rabbi Nachman brings in Likutei Maran, in lesson Ches, Aleph 1, that shemen is chachma. Olive oil, shemen, is chachma. But he says, sometimes the wisdom can be cold and even arrogant. How do you turn the chachma, the wisdom, into light? Is when a person must be crushed. Not physically crushed. He has to be crushed into the beautiful yid that he needs to be. Let's consider this story about Reb Noson. After Rabbi Nachman passed away, Reb Noson made it his life effort to print Rabbi Nachman's work. And Reb Noson was prisoned because he got a printing press. And he had the printing press in his attic. And there were those that didn't like Reb Noson. And they mastered him out to the government. And they came and they seized his printing press. Reb Noson felt kosses. He felt crushed. They put him in jail. He mamish felt crushed. But then he realized, Reb Noson, I'm a zayis, I'm an olive. He said that the prison is my press. And he said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was crushing me to extract the oil of my emunah, pure emunah. The crushing of life's pressure is not meant to destroy us, but it's to refine the chachma and turn it into ner tamet, a constant flame. So look at Reb Noson, how beautiful Reb Noson is. Someone would have thought like this: they ratted me out. Oh, he's such a terrible. They would start telling everyone. And then they locked him up, and he would be so upset at Hashem. Hey, Hashem, I'm only trying to print the teachings of my Rebbe. What's going on over here? Reb Noson doesn't say that. Noson says, the prison cell, I'm an olive. The prison cell is my press. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is crushing me here, so then I can be able to bring out the light of Rabbi Nachman. What we have now, Baruch Hashem. Let's talk about now the big day kahuna, the high priest's vestments, his garments. Each one of the garments was there to forgive for a certain sin. It says the Alchemy. The chayshin, the breastplate, that atoned for mistakes in Mishpat. Judges that judged, and they made a mistake. The breastplate would forgive for mistakes in judgment. The me'il, the robe that the Kohen wore, it atoned for Lashon Hara. Through the pamonim, through the bells that were on the bottom. The same way the bells made noise, that noise, the jingle of the bell, the beautiful jingle of the bell, drowned out the Lashon Hara, and it forgave for Lashon Hara, perhaps the gravest of sins. Why? Because again, you're speaking against some other Jew. Every Jew has a chelik elikah mimal inside of them, a chelik of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in them, and if you speak against the Jew, you're speaking against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the chayshin, the me'il forgave for that. And sometimes a person has brazenness. He's brazenness. He has azis, is an azis panim. And that was forgiven by wearing the tzitz, the breast, the head plate that the Kohen wore. The midas that we have are really our garments. Reb Noson writes in Likutei Halachos, this idea that the midos are our garments. Just as the Kohen Gadol, just as the Kohen went into the Kodesh, and as he went in, he caused his Cyrus awakening, because he made the sounds as he was walking. So too is our tefillos when we daven, and we say the words. We say them and we listen to those words. It wakes up our neshama. It brings up the kavanah. It wakes up our neshama from the spiritual, from the physical world. We also have Parshat Zachor. Parshat Zachor. Every year, that the Shabbos that precedes Purim, we read Parshat Zachor. To understand who Amalek was. The Medrash says that Amalek was there they came to cool us off. Asher korcha baderech. They're the spirit of cynicism that cools. Rabbi Nachman teaches that Amalek and Safek are the same Gematria. Amalek makes Safek. Is Hashem in us or not? Is Hashem here with us or not? That's what Amalek wants to do. Amalek wants to create doubt. That's what he likes to do. Well, listen to this. If you take the Shemen the Gematria is 390. Shin Mem Nun. Shin is 300. Mem is 40. And Nun is 50. 390. And if you take away from the 390 doubt, Safek, which is Safek, is doubt is 150, you're left with 150 is Kas. Kof, Ayin, Samach. Kof is 20. Ayin is 70. And Samach is 60, 150. Rabbi Nachman says, when a person is angry, their chachma, their oil, their kosis lama'or drains out, and Amalek, his doubt, rushes in. When you have your chachma and you're thinking, there's no room for Amalek. But when you allow the chachma to leave, which is the shemen zayis zoch to leave, 390 comes in Amalek Safek, which relieves you with kas. How do you calm the kas? With chachma. The Choshen and the Ketoret were there to bind the soul. What does that mean? The Choshen contained the 12 of the stones of the 12 Shvatim. Shevet equals 311. Is the same as Ish, man. Every person has a unique path. You have to transform the person's passion into holiness. A ruby is called an odem. Turn the ruby into Adam. Man. What is the antidote against Amalek? Is Baididus, speaking to Hashem. Speaking to Hashem. There was another stone that was on the Choshen. There was another stone on the Choshen, and what was the stone called? That stone was called the Yoshpeh. Yoshpeh is a jasper. A jasper is Yoshpeh is Yesh Peh, personal prayer. Speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hispaidus. It's the most important thing to do is to speak to the Rabbeinu Shalom. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to speak to him. He really, really wants us to speak to him. It's so important to speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our own words. How can you know HaKadosh Baruch Hu if you don't speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? If you want to know somebody, you have to speak to them. You have to speak to the person. If you speak to the person, you'll know the person. If you don't know the person, if you don't speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how are you ever going to know him? So you have to speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to speak to him. He wants us to speak to him. It's such a beautiful idea to speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's why you had that stone. At the end of the parsha, we find them as Mizbeach HaKetoret. Last week's parsha, when it mentioned the Shulchan, it mentioned the menorah, it mentioned the Aron, but it didn't mention the Mizbeach HaKetoret. This week we mentioned the Mizbeach HaKetoret, the altar that we put the sacrifice, the incense. The word Ketoret comes from the Aramaic word of kitar, not the country Qatar. Kitar, which means to bind. Amalek seeks to separate us from Hashem. That's his job. But Ketoret binds us back. When Moshe Rabbeinu was up in Shemayim, he met the Satan. And the Satan was amazed. How is man in Shemayim? Moshe Rabbeinu got scared. He grabbed onto the Kisei HaKavod. And the Satan was so amazed at Moshe Rabbeinu that he was able to be in Shemayim. He said, I want to give you a present. And what's the present that the Satan gave Moshe Rabbeinu? The Ketoret is the only thing that can stop me. The incense is the only thing that can stop me. Malach HaMavis is the Satan. What can stop him? Ketoret. The Alchemy notes that the incense includes chelbena, gorbenum. It's a foul-smelling spice. This teaches us that to defeat Amalek, we must bind everyone together, the righteousness and the stragglers, in a single cloud of tefillah. What did Esther Amalka say to Mordechai? Lech kenois es kol haYehudim. Esther Amalka knew the secret. What's the secret? Lech kenois es kol haYehudim. Get all Jews together. Every Jew counts. Every Jew counts. Not this one doesn't. No, not it. No. The same way you had the chelbena, which was awful smelling by itself. But when you put the smell, the chelbena, together with the other 10 delightful spices, and you burn it, it has the most beautiful fragrance because they're all together. That's Klal Yisrael. When we are all together, we are beautiful. All Jews. We have to keep everybody together. It's the secret of our success. Achdus. How do we put this all together? Let's synthesize this whole thing. We have the Aleph of Adar. We have Simcha, Tetzaveh, Zachor. All of this is to melt the ice of Amalek with the fire of the menorah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu dwells even in this month, of course, in this month, hidden. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is hidden. Aleph Dor. Adar is Aleph Dor. Alufei Shel Olam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Alufei Shel Olam Dor. He's in this month. But he's hidden. When we transform our crushing, all our life's challenges, into oil, into that chachma, and we take our anger, and we turn the anger into patience, through simcha, through his baidedas, then we'll have Purim. It's amazing. Ketoret, binding. Adar, Aleph Dor. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's there in this month. How do you get rid of the anger? Through simcha. How do you get rid of the Amalek in us? Through the shemen, zayis, zach. Shemen is chachma. All these beautiful ideas that we just learned. And the main way to get rid of Amalek is through simcha. Simcha, joy. May we merit to take our kusses, our crushing, and turn it into shemen, zayis, zach. And may we remember our purpose of Zachor, to bind ourselves to Hashem through the Ketoret. This is the main idea. This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to do. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to be together with Him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to take away all of the doubt, like Rabbi Nachman taught us. Take away the doubt that Amalek is the same as Sofek. And how do you get rid of the doubt? Rabbi Nachman says, and we'll close with this, is through halacha. See, learning halacha, Rabbi Nachman says every day you're supposed to do his bait to speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, learn halacha, say tikkun haklali mikveh. This is all of the programs of a Breslover. And anyone that wants to be close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because if you learn halacha, that's the antidote. It gives you simcha. Because if you know halacha, you're not second guessing yourself. Why is Amalek safek? Because you do a mitzvah. Maybe I didn't do it right. Safek, doubt. Maybe I could have done it like this. Maybe I should have done that. But if you know halacha, you know you did it right. And that's how your mamish can be b'simcha. I wish everyone that we should all have mamish a lechtige Shabbos, a beautiful, beautiful, joyous Shabbos. And listen to the words of Amalek, what they're trying to do. But know that through my simcha, through the Ketoret, I can get past that. And the same way in this week's Parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu is not mentioned. It's mentioned Va'ata. It's hinted to. The same way in the Megillah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not mentioned. It's only in HaMelech. Let's find the real Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu and know that we are bound one with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because every Jew has their neshama, and the neshama is a chelik elikam imal with inside of them. And with this, I wish everyone mamish alechtig Shabbos. And if we don't meet before Purim, so I wish everyone mamish a freilich in Purim. And remember, the whole idea of the shalach manas is to give the shalach manas not to your good friends, but give your shalach manas to the people that are your chelbena, to make them part with you. That's the beauty. And don't forget the Matanas Levyonim. Kol Tov, everybody. Thank you for listening. Please don't forget to hit the like button. And I also would love if you can give me some comments. Always put comments in. Any questions, you're always welcome to ask. Kol Tov.